Are there any intentions, or is there an intention to index stamp duty?
Can I say this, that governments, and this is not a political rhetoric, it's just a fact of life, that people need and want and deserve certain government services. In many ways, we have an antiquated, inherited tax system of which a heavy reliance on property taxes around every state of Australia and nationally is a feature of our tax revenue that we have. Now, would we like to tax differently? Would we like to take some taxes off? Of course we would. But if you take a tax off, what is your replacement tax and what services do you cut? Now, we're not going to be raising taxes in this election campaign, but the argument for reducing a tax is very easy. My job as a treasurer is to say, well, if we cut a tax, what other tax do we put in place? Or indeed, what other service do we cut? Or does that mean we borrow? So, there's got to be give and take on both sides.
Now, the Henry report, as I understand it, is talking of eliminating stamp duty.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Henry report recommends a whole series of sweeping changes to the way states tax. Now, that may well be good theoretically, it may well be good administratively, it may be a good academic approach, but whether or not it's doable in the real world of politics and the real world of social justice, I'll wait to be convinced.
Kevin, with regards to the land tax, an investor with $3 million worth of property in South Australia currently pays $85,000 land tax bill. That same investor in the West pays $17,000 land tax. Now, you've made those welcome changes, which we're very appreciative of, so let's make sure that everyone's aware of that. But how else, apart from the indexing and those changes, will there be any relief for the top end of town, for the Harry Perks of this world, the people that own a lot of commercial property?
Look, I'm not proposing to extend land tax cuts any further than what they are. The vast bulk of recipients of the benefit that we've provided are the one property owners, the two property owners, perhaps the third property owner in the lower value marketplace. That is in excess of 50% of the current land tax payers in the state. Commercial property owners have other mechanisms by which to acquit the land tax bill. Let's always remember that it is an input cost to business, so it is a tax deductible item, and there are other mechanisms available that sees the effect of land tax ameliorated. But can I say this, that if you've got $3 or $4 or $5 or $10 or $15 million worth of property, I'm less inclined or less motivated to be able to assist those property owners. My priority has been mums and dads and the ordinary investors who want to have a first or second home investment. That's where the relief should be targeted, and I'm pleased that we've done it.
Your Sydney investment properties, do you pay land tax on those?
No, it's under the threshold.
Right.
Then Sydney's a much more expensive property, and it has higher benchmarks and higher thresholds in South Australia.
Is the reason that you have investments in other states because of the land tax here?
No, that allegation has been put forward by my political opponents on a number of times. The very, very first investment property my former wife and I ever purchased happened to be in Sydney. And my next two investment properties that I've bought happen to be in Adelaide. So that urban myth of an attempt by me to avoid the grouping provision is sadly misplaced.